This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
And welcome back, everybody. If you want to have success in life and really move your life forward and heal, and by the way, we've said this before and it bears repeating because many don't want to accept it, but we all have things to heal from. You need to surrender. You need to surrender. Now, that's a challenging word because a lot of us kind of look at that word as giving up, feeling defeated, but that's not what we're talking about here. And we're going to explain that in just a couple of minutes with somebody who helps people do this all the time. She is a Reiki master and her business is called Calming Vibrations. Just love the title of that. And she's all about energy healing. And it's all about the surrender today. So I'm going to surrender for a moment and just throw it to her. Samantha Somervill joins us on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well today. How are you?
Very well. Very well. And this there's a lot of uncomfortableness when you tell people or suggest to them, you need to surrender. You need to surrender. How do you define that word? Let's start there.
Yeah, it's very deeply transformative, but it's not a word of defeat. It's more of an act of grace when you think about it. Surrender is not weakness. It's a conscious release. You're not giving up. You're releasing. You're allowing yourself the ability to heal. So in Reiki, surrender is a cornerstone. So energy in your body, we've talked about this in the prior podcast, it doesn't flow if you have tension or resistance. So if you think about where you have pain and issues like in your body, let's say you have tightness in your shoulders, or it feels like you have the weight of the world on your neck, your energy, and you're going to have tension and you're going to have everything building up there. If you do not surrender to the healing and allow it to come in and relax, it's your energy and you are not going to heal in that area. So to let go is not to give up, but it's the wisdom greater than ourselves to be able to let go.
Now, I'm going to say this in a way. I'm not connecting any of this to religion, but these words come to my mind. And it was a song, a country song that was big, like, I don't know, 15 years ago-ish. Jesus, take the wheel. So I'm not talking about religion here, but to me, that is a surrender. And you could insert whatever you want. Universe, take the wheel, or like, here you go. I'm handing it to you. You know, to me, I looked at that as a form of surrender. It's not like you're giving up. It's just, releasing it for the moment and let what is going to happen, or let the healing happen from within.
Yeah, because surrender is hard. We know culturally there's an obsession with control and productivity.
Yeah.
I mean, we all struggle with this. I struggle with this myself because you want to be in control. You want to know where everything's going. And stillness can feel threatening when we're so used to chaos. And
Yep.
right now we are in a chaotic time. Everything is chaos. And trauma, if we are dealing with some form of trauma, can make us feel unsafe when we're not doing. So when you're in that stillness and you do that surrender, it is really hard to feel like, oh, I'm giving up, but you're not giving up. You're just resting and letting go.
I get that. I know somebody who has anxiety, and when things are quiet, that's where she gets triggered. It's almost as if she's not used to dealing with it because her normal routine is a lot of stuff going on. Maybe she needs to surrender, as a way to move life forward. How do you tie this concept, surrender, into what you offer with Reiki and energy healing?
Yeah. Reiki's not about force. It's about presence. So most of the healing is done when you soften. So Reiki teaches you that you don't have to understand, you just allow. So surrendering lets the body and the spirit guides whatever you believe, but you can use spirit guides, you can use angels, whatever your belief system is, come in and help you heal. In a session, this may look like silence for you. Sometimes there's tears, sometimes there's warmth, or there's a release. It's like um, you can feel like if you have a like real tight energy, maybe on your heart center, and all of a sudden feels like you take a deep breath and you just go, and you just breathe it out.
Hmm.
So that release with that surrender comes in many different forms once you allow for that stillness in that moment.
You know, to your point, there was a point years ago, I made a major life change. And I found myself, like you said, the control word, right? I found myself like, now what do I do? I made this, it was a career change or job change, call it that. And like, well, that's what I've done for decades. Now I'm not doing that. And I was talking to a very, very, very intuitive friend. And he said, when you're at your lowest point, that's when you're most humble. And yeah, I wasn't at a low point, but I was in a way a low point in my psyche over the situation. And that's where the rebirth, for me started happening. So it almost sounds like what you're saying here. It's like, how did you describe that before? Where you're at your softest, like when you're at that point, when you've surrendered, that's when you're open to receiving new energy and maybe new opportunities, right?
Once you release that hold, that control,
Mm,
you open yourself to receive.
yeah.
And now a big part of that too, which is another part that's hard and is a bigger step, is acceptance.
Mm,
And acceptance is a large part of surrender as well. Knowing ourselves, where our limits are, where we're having problems surrendering to the feelings of them, all of them, like anger, frustration, sadness, grief, fear. And that acceptance comes through time and part of the journey as we learn to find that stillness and surrender to it in the small moments. So it's part of that flow. So that doesn't all come at once. So you have to be kind to yourself. So the surrendering and acceptance is all part of the journey. So those that are going to therapy sessions or other modalities or even going through yoga, you realize there is a process and there's a healing journey for you as you learn to relax, surrender, and let go, and then accept what you are learning as a part of your journey.
Can you give, I know you've worked with a lot of people on their journey. Can you give any examples how this might work?
Um, if, let's say, somebody comes in and they are dealing, I think of the best way to say this. They are coming in with a lot of stress and anxiety
Hmm.
from whether it is we've had them it be with like a job or something going on in their life. And you work with them and you just feel the weight on their shoulders and their neck. The easiest thing is you ask them to be very open on the table, or, you know, mostly last ones were on the table. And you say to yourself, how can I help this person? You know that they need the help to guide some release there. So you work on the areas to where you can help open those areas where they're having the most stress and try to take some of that weight off so that they can heal themselves and work through that trauma. So as you work on areas such as like the third eye and behind and back on the shoulders and behind the neck to pull the weight of the world off, you can start to feel the release as they start to breathe.
Hmm.
So you figure out, hey, that gives them room to breathe. Um, and they can work through that a little bit. Some of the feedback is I felt a weight lift off. I was able to breathe. Um, I was able to work through this um, without getting too much into the details, but it helps give you that small bit, small pocket to help you work through whatever you're working through with at that moment.
Would you say, and many people describe, I got neck issues, my upper back,
Yeah.
it's always tight. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they go to a chiropractor. That's all good, maybe massage, whatever. Could that also be energy that's stuck there, and that's what's causing that discomfort?
Yeah, you store a lot of energy and tightness all up in your shoulders, in your neck. Massage therapists can work with you there, but if you're continuously having tight shoulders, you're constantly look at how you sit in the day. Do you constantly tighten yourself up? Do you hunch over?
Mm.
Do you just do you clench your jaw? Do you like you need to find ways to release that and calm that, whether it's through intentional breathing, just to take a breath, breathe it into the area of tension just for a minute.
Hmm.
I'm not talking like a whole hour of going off and meditating, but take a deep breath into the area that is having the issue and then let it out and try to release the tension in that area for a moment because that will help. Now, some issues, obviously, you need to go to ortho or you do need to go to a chiropractor because you have dislocated something or they need to work on it. However, you can release the muscle tension somewhat by breathing into it or working on it yourself a little bit and understanding that the energy has to flow if you do not relax. You have to relax your body and surrender to it a little.
I was waiting for you to use that word again and surrender to it. And you said something, and I want to just put a little microscope on it in a moment.
Sure.
And in a few moments, we're going to see if we can do a little guided meditation today to help everybody out. But breathe into it. So let's just say, go with that example. Yeah, got neck tension here. You're pretty sure it's coming from stress. Where it manifests for many of us when we go through that. Breathe into it. So does that mean just take a moment and focus on the area? And while you do, take those deep breaths and focus those breaths or attention on that area. I'm not sure if I'm describing that right, but I'm wondering how you suggest to do that.
This is how it works for me, and this is how I instruct others. You take a deep breath in through the nose, and then you take that breath to wherever that tension is and and when you breathe out, try to release that tension through the mouth. You try to focus on where that problem area is.
Hmm.
It may take about 3 breaths. Take 3 deep breaths, one each time, taking it to that area that's having the tension. And then let it out. And then one more. And try to soften the area and let a little bit of the tension out. Now, of course, depending on what you do, you may need to do that several times a day, but it helps release some of the tension builds up in an area.
Is what's going on there with the intention and the focus that
Mhm.
when you're taking that or releasing that deep breath, it's almost as if you're flushing out the stress, anxiety, energy that shouldn't be manifesting or stuck in that area, let's say your neck. Is that what's going on? We're just getting rid of it with that breath?
It is. You're focusing in and saying, You don't need it. You're clearing it out.
Mm.
You're trying to get it to move so then you can be open for better energy and better flow. Um, and then you can move on to what you need to do to heal because we carry the weight of the world in our shoulders. Everyone does. Everyone carries the weight of the world in their neck, especially in the current culture.
Mm.
So it's take a moment, take a breath before you move forward.
Is that Reiki?
Part of it is, yeah.
Hmm. Wow. Well, it's not amazing for those of us who are like, I don't know what this Reiki thing is. I'm not really sure what Samantha's doing there. That's part of it. You're just releasing. You're helping people release it. Might not be during a breath like that. It's through different energy work.
Mhm.
But that's what it's all about. That energy, right? That is stuck in your neck in this example.
And that's what you can do without somebody sitting there with you. You
Gotcha.
can help move it yourself. Yeah.
Is the challenges that we have energy related, is it mostly because of there's the energy stuck and there's not a flow of energy? There's literally it's stuck there. Is the flow the most important part here?
Um, to keep it flowing, um, it helps your body continue to, I guess, I don't want to say just continue to operate, but it does continue to operate. It continues to help all of your, what we've called it the horror line before. It goes from your head all the way down. But it keeps everything in alignment and keeps everything, well, lack of a better term, talking to each other so that all of your systems are in alignment and you are, um, I guess, operating at your best health and you are having good communication throughout your body. So if you have something that is stuck, for lack of a better term, that means that you are not getting good communication to another part of your body. So you could have uh, heartburn, or you could have anxiety, or you could have something physical, or it could be something emotional. It just depends on what it is. And so they manifest in different ways, as we talked about last time. So it it can cause different issues to show up if you don't ensure that everything is flowing correctly, for lack of a better term.
So we did a little bit of, I guess, call it a meditation a moment ago.
Yeah.
Do you have one that maybe we could do that's surrender connected?
Yes, yes, I do. All right.
I love meditating. I
So,
really do. It's when, once you get into that zone, I know it's not easy, but once you've found it, ooh, it's powerful. Like I look forward, Samantha. I'm always busy doing everything, but I gotta tell you, I look forward to going home and maybe in the evening or first thing in the morning, lying in bed and just focusing, meditating. In like I get so much out of it. Just the relaxation, the clarity, it's almost like giving yourself a gift. Here's something for you so you can connect with yourself. I don't know if that makes sense. That's how I'm describing it.
it does. And like when I first started meditating, I had what they like to call monkey mind,
Oh yeah.
major monkey mind. I couldn't concentrate on anything to save my life. I did it for like 2 minutes or less. And eventually, after I did it for more and more time, my body started to crave it. So once I would say, okay, you tell yourself, I'm going to go meditate, your body knew it was time and you relaxed right into it. So if you get used to the practice, your body knows it's time and it's so happy for it.
Right?
That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, yay, I get to meditate for a minute.
You know,
So,
before we jump in, final thought for me is I never did self-care. I never did it up until about 4 years ago. And I look at meditation as that self-care. And quite honestly, looking at this in a different frame. If I don't do something for myself on a daily basis, whatever it is, could be the littlest thing, I feel like I gypped myself. I cheated myself. And that could even be like, we're supposed to floss, right? Does everybody floss every single day religiously? I don't think so. I certainly don't. I admit it. And like even this morning, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that extra second and I'm going to floss. That little thing, I felt like I gave myself something to care for myself instead of like running out of the house, take care of other people. Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm brushing my teeth. I'm going to floss because it's good. Self-care, meditation, it's all part of it. So let's surrender. Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to surrender into some stillness. So if you're driving, please don't do this.
Yeah, disclaimer. Yeah.
But I invite everyone to sit quietly for a moment. So we're going to focus on the breath. We're going to do 3 deep breaths. So please breathe with me. 1 deep breath in. Take it all the way in. Focus on where it goes. So breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in through the nose, all the way to the top. And breathe out through the mouth. One more. Breathe in through the nose. And out through the mouth. I'd like you to visualize a stream of light entering down through your crown and surrounding your body, covering you in a white light, going down through your head, over your shoulders, down through your torso, releasing any tension as it moves through your body, down your back, into your hips, down your legs, out through the ground. And tell yourself, I am safe to let go. I surrender to healing. I trust in the flow. Again, I am safe to let go. I surrender to healing. I trust in the flow. You can open your eyes now.
Hmm. Do we have to stop? I guess we do. We're out of time.
Yeah. But just a reminder, surrender isn't the end. It is the beginning of deep healing. So when we soften, life flows through us freely. So through surrender in small amounts, we allow ourselves that space to heal. So we hold space for ourselves and others. So look for those small spaces where you can surrender so you can hold that space for everyone.
Would you say, and thank you for that, would you say that unless you fully surrender, you really can't fully heal?
I would agree because you have to surrender parts of you to be able to bring in healing.
Hmm.
And
There's,
remember, that isn't giving up.
yeah,
It isn't. So don't think of it as I am giving things up. You're letting things in.
it's as if you're the house, temple, if you will. You're not handing it to somebody else. Here, take it. I don't want it anymore. You're just opening the door. That's it. And letting the healing come in and maybe letting out some of the things that might have been holding you back. Samantha, how do we connect with you if somebody wants to do a session, even a meditation, or just
Yeah.
learn a little bit more about this whole process? How do they find you?
Sure. You can reach out to me on calmingvibrations.com. I have a calendar out there. You can register either for a consulting or a session. If you cannot find one that works for you, do reach out to me at contact@calmingvibrations.com and we can talk.
Very much appreciate today. I've done a lot of podcasts involving Reiki energy healing. Gonna be honest, as I always am. Never have I done one that talked about surrendering and connected to energy healing or any kind of healing, really. So important, and I think often overlooked. So I appreciate you today, and as always, and looking forward next time we get together.
Absolutely. Look forward to it.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.